time is over. It's time to rejoin the Third and One podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to part two of Third and One with Dante Marsh. We're going to pick up pretty much where we left off. So here we go. In 2006, you had a breakout year with the BC Lions. You recorded 52 defensive tackles. You had a career-high 4 interceptions, 5 pass knockdowns, and 2 fumble recoveries. Is this when the league really started to take notice of who Dante Marsh really was?
I would say the previous year, in 2005, where we fell short of advancing to the Grey Cup. We hosted the Western Final versus Edmonton and lost that. That offseason, I ended up signing with the Chiefs. So I think my second year in the league, I kind of came into my own. And I started, hearing things and, guys mentioning me along with the David Sanchez's and the Omar Morgans at that time that were, boundary corners that were pretty good. So I think 2005 my first year in 2004, I was thrust into the starting role out of training camp after they released the veteran guy, Shad Chris. So I became the starter after the first preseason game. And the first few games had a learning curve, we faced Danny McManus and that was tough.
Yeah.
And, the first few games, there were some lumps and bumps and some growing pains, and the adjustment to the different style of play due to the configuration of the football field and the field dimensions, wider and longer. And then obviously 3 downs and an extra guy on each side. But after about 4 games in, I started coming into my own. And I truly believe my second year was a great follow-up to my 2004 introduction, and then 2006 was like, okay, I'm here,
Yeah, game on, right? So what was it like winning a Grey Cup in your second season in the league?
Winning the Grey Cup in year 3 rather, was a treat, man. My dad passed away in 2005, actually the night before we played Calgary in a preseason game. He was battling some kidney issues for about 7 years. Like when I went off to Fresno State my freshman year, he really got sick, and that was like the start of it. So he battled kidney failure for about 7 years, and he was my best friend, man, and he was, extremely proud of me, my biggest fan. And he just, it was tough, because that was my source, my go-to. We talk about any and everything, and like I said, he's my biggest fan and my biggest supporter, and I leaned on him a large part of my life for advice and wisdom and knowledge. And to not have him anymore and not be able to, have those intimate conversations with him, and just, he always knew what to tell me, just like my mom, always had hold what you got, let me think. And, you even as a grown man, that's still your mom and your dad, so you lean on them, right? And, I just, from that moment on, I used to wear, he had this gold necklace that thing was probably older than me. He was a tourist, April 25th. So he had this gold necklace with the gold tourist medallion on it. So I would wear that in games underneath everything. And from that point on, I would write his initials on the toes of my cleats. So anytime, I got tired or I missed a play or a receiver caught a ball on me, I looked down, like I would talk to myself, come on, man, come on, daddy, you with me, And it was just like a reminder, like, this you're doing this, it's bigger than you. It's a legacy you're trying to, create, build, and establish. So, whenever I got tired, whenever, I felt like I messed up or was, like I said, a receiver caught a ball on me, or things of that nature, I would, look down and get that reminder like, shit, let's go. So, that kind of pushed me more, extra added motivation.
That's huge. I'm lucky. I have both my adopted parents are still alive, my mom and my dad, and I've been in contact now with my biological mother as well. But yeah, I've kind of, in a weird way, I've kind of thought to times when I'm not going to have my dad, and it really bothers me. I mean, he's my brick too, right? He's my go-to person, and he keeps me in check. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine losing my father, and yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that. So in 2008, you had a bounce back season after a partial left MCL tear. You had 59 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 2 fumble recoveries, earning you recognition as a West Division and CFL All-Star. How big was it for you to come back with that kind of season after missing 8 weeks in 2007?
It's 9 weeks.
9 weeks, okay.
Probably 8 games because we had a bye week, but I cut my dreads off at that point. I used to have some long dreadlocks.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, and I never had a lower extremity injury. Like, you deal with the shoulder stuff. I mean, I was able to bounce back at that. That was a pretty tough one, but never had lower extremity injury. And it was pretty bad. It was a 3rd degree, and they thought I would be done for the season, especially due to the nature of my position where I got to stop, start, cut, and cover guys. I was ready to play in 4.5, 5 weeks.
Wow.
Back then, they placed you on a 9-game injury list. You had to sit out that full 9. It's not like now where they could bring you back early. I was motivated, man, and 2008 was one of my best years. Like, I was not giving up a lot of catches. I was in the zone, so to speak, for most of that season. And yeah, I had a pretty good season that year.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. 2011 season was quite a ride for the Lions. You started the season with an 0-5 record, but ended up clawing back the rest of the season to eventually pound the Montreal Alouettes 43-1 to take first place in the West. You beat the Eskimos 40-23 in the West Final, and then beat Winnipeg 34-23 in the Grey Cup. How crazy is that, or how crazy of a season was that for you to be a part of?
It was. We dealt with a lot of adversity. I think at one point we were 1-6 or 1-5. It was an 0-5 start.
Yeah.
It was a transition. We were getting our BC Place was under renovation. So we played the previous season at makeshift Empire Field in 2010. And then 2011, we started at Empire, I believe, and then we transitioned back into the big house. And it was bad. It was ugly in the beginning. And us veteran guys who are on the upper end of the pay scale, I know myself was called into Wiley's office, and he was basically like saying, hey, my sense is, man, it's not the coach's fault. We're doing our jobs. So, you guys got to do yours, and you guys got to, you veteran guys got to help turn this thing around. And, if you don't do that and you can't get that done, what's going to happen, right? People who know Wiley know how he talks. So I understood totally what he was saying. Basically, you don't get your shit together and fix this, y'all going to get asked first because y'all making them 6 figures. So,
yeah.
If you love your job and you want to keep your job, you need to get down in that locker room and get this team turned around. And, it was never a doubt in my mind, like, myself, Corey Banks, Ryan Phillips, like we're pros, we're professionals. So we no matter what, win, lose, or draw, we giving you 110. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like, we needed a scare tactic or anything. I loved my check. I loved competing. I loved the game. So never needed, well, we were always self-motivated because we knew how to be successful.
Right.
Already. So that just basically put us on notice. And then we had some new guys. G-Roy basically was pretty much by himself at that point. We had some injuries in the receiving core. We had a bunch of new guys. We had a young Solomon Elamimian. We had a young Adam Big Hill. The transition from Baron Miles at safety to J.R. LaRose, you know, it's tough, man. You that's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You know, we made a lot of plays in that back end, and he was one of the field generals in the back holding it down. You know, throughout me, Corey, and Ryan's career. So,
Yeah.
you know, it was a lot on JR's plate. You know, the expectation level for him to replace a guy of that stature.
Mhm.
So all across the board, it was a lot going on. You know, Cam Wake had come and gone, and you know, BJ was getting up there in age. You know,
Yeah.
so Aaron Hunt. You know, these are all of us. So
Yeah.
we knew time was ticking. You know, because Calgary had came into the game 08, and I think from 04 to 08, the Grey Cup went through BC. We every year we were in contention to go to the Grey Cup. So we went twice, but only won once. And at that time, Calgary, the shift started to change, and Calgary, you know, did their thing that year in 08, obviously, and the power shift in the West was shifting, and I knew time was running out. You know, G Roy's getting up there in age, we're getting up there in age, and it's only so Paul McCallum.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's only so long that you can keep, you know, that nucleus together, right? Whether
Yeah.
it's age or for financial reasons. So you know, we knew it was a sense of urgency to try to get another cup.
Yeah.
So that's you know, it was just a lot of self-motivation and pride more so than anything.
Mm-hmm. And they say too, a lot of the change came when Arland Bruce came to the team.
I was just going to talk about that. You know, we had some injuries in the receiving corps. G Roy kind of, you know, he was Batman and or Superman, you know, more specific doing his thing, and he really didn't have a sidekick anymore. And I think us getting Arland Bruce in that trade, I believe, at that point in time, damn near single-handedly helped catapult us to the Grey Cup, because now you didn't just key on G Roy.
That's right.
You had another explosive, big-time Hall of Fame caliber guy on the other side that you could get the ball to go along with, you know, the adjustment we made moving Corey, which by the way is like my brother. Yeah. We had flirted with him playing nickel, basically up there in Canada, a hybrid linebacker type deal. And I never was a fan of it. You know, he was my halfback, so it was us two DBs in the boundary, and we were an excellent tandem for a long time. And when they started moving him around, and you know, I had to play with different guys, it kind of threw off the continuity. Yeah. And as you know, that boundary is the hot spot in the CFL. Your two best wide receivers is the quickest throw. That's where they're going. So I was extremely happy when they moved him back to boundary side halfback, and then we started getting that thing rolling. And then you had the addition with R-line, and then you had the addition of Tad Cornegay. So we put together a couple pieces that added to what was already historically a pretty good organization and a pretty damn good defense, you know. And we just went on a run.
Yeah, you went on a run, all right. You ran all the way to the Super Bowl, or sorry, the Grey Cup.
Super Bowl of Canada.
The Super Bowl of Canada, right?
Yeah. Yes,
so in 2012, you became the line's all-time leader in tackles with 484 defensive stops in 151 career games. What do those numbers mean to you?
I have to clarify those numbers because some people who don't know the game will say, well, damn, they must have threw at him a lot of times. Tackles. But people who watch me understand that I was a total football player. Like, I would go seek the ball. I'm making plays on the opposite side of the field. In the run game, I never shied away from contact. And I think that to me, I think I was the best for a while at that boundary corner because of all those different elements that I brought to the game. I wasn't just out there as a cover guy. I wasn't a liability against the run. I could tackle, and I could tackle well. And I wasn't afraid to stick my nose in there. So, you know, I think that added value to me as a player, and that's, you know, one of the main reasons why I had so much staying power. Because I think I was a complete football player more so than, you know, just a cover guy. And I can also if need be, go back there and return punts, go return kickoffs. I've done that up in BC. So I think I brought a lot of value to the game and to that organization for a long time.
Yeah. In 2013, you played all 18 regular season games for the third straight season, which, by the way, is a pretty big feat in football. You know, that's pretty big. And you played 111 of the last 113 games dating back to 2011. So I'll say that again. You played 111 of the last 113 games dating back to 2011. That's pretty good. That's keeping yourself in shape. That's staying game ready.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, you're out there. You're not running away from the tackle. You're making the tackle. You're putting yourself out there. You know.
Absolutely.
So in such a physical sport, at a physical position, how are you able to push yourself through to that kind of longevity?
The preparation. My workouts are like legendary.
I've seen some of your footage.
Yes, I used to work out on game day, and even to this day at 41, a lot of people are like, "You're not 41. You're lying. When were you really born? 1979." I'm adamant about keeping myself in shape, and also I have to do that so I can have my occasional cigar. But this, you know, I'm a gym rat. I still wake up without an alarm clock, kind of 5:30 in the morning, because I've been programmed pretty much my whole life, you know, as a football player, getting up early and doing my thing. And like I said, I train as well. So I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a defensive coordinator, an adjunct professor. I work in the school district, you know, and I train. I have a training business on the side. I train a lot of athletes. Got a bunch of them that garnered scholarships and played very well. And guys, we build, you know, lifelong relationships. We do a lot of camps. I do so many things within the game of football and helping young people. And I work out with them, and I keep myself in some shape. You know, I'm not a spring chicken, so working out is the fountain of youth.
Yeah. See, with me, I mean, I started working out. I mean, I started taking it seriously probably 3 years ago, and I wish I had done it a long time ago, because I mean, I love working out. I love pushing myself, and I got into running. I was in a really bad construction accident in 2001. Let's get back to where I saved my own life. We'll save that for another story. But I mean, I had a broken femur. I had blood clots. I fell, 45 feet off a balcony. And my body's banged up, man. And now to work out and to go for a run and stuff, it hurts. And I wish I had started it sooner.
Oh yeah, people don't understand the training and the preparation and keeping your body in shape is injury prevention. Mm-hmm. You know, and that's why I used to work out. I had some young guys. Well, actually, true story. When I first got up to BC, Bo Lewis was still on the team, and Carl Kidd, I love those guys, and Barron Simpson. So they kind of took to me early on. So one game we had, I'm in there during the week working out with Bo Lewis, and we killing arms. And I don't even know how I played. I couldn't even lift my arms up on game day. But, you know, I've always been, throughout my career, I've been blessed with some great guys, like from players to like historical Hall of Fame, NFL players, coaches, and just I've been blessed and fortunate to come, you know, those guys, those caliber guys across my path, and they imparted knowledge and wisdom upon me, and I took it and ran with it. And that's what I'm, you know, paying it forward, you know, when I'm training, coaching, and speaking and mentoring these young people. I used to work out on game day. We got a 7 o'clock game at BC Place. I'm in there at 7 o'clock, drink me some coffee, you know, because my condo, the new condos in Surrey, it was diagonal. It was like a less than a 5-minute walk to the facility in Surrey. So I would go downstairs, grab me some coffee, warm up real good, jump some rope, throw 225 on the squat rack, squat a little bit, stretch some more, do some arms, do some bench press, do some shrugs, stretch some more, go into the steam room for a minute, hop in the cold tub, take another shower, go to Ricky's Diner at the Surrey Center and eat a huge breakfast. And because I can't eat a lot on game day, nerves and using the bathroom a bunch of times because it's, you know, no matter how long you play the game, if you're not getting them nerves, it's time to stop playing.
Yeah.
So I would eat a huge breakfast, and then I would go back to the condo, kind of lay around, get on my iPad, watch some more film, check out any college games, depending on the day we played, or NFL games if it was a Sunday. Look at some more film. At about 2 o'clock, I would run some real hot bath water and pour like a half a bag of Epsom salt in there. Okay. And I would turn on my JBL audio speaker in the bathroom, and then I would kind of slide in that hot water until I could stand it because it was so hot, and I would stretch. And then I would relax, sit there for about 20 minutes, drain the water, take another shower, iron my clothes because we going to get fresh because we going out after you know, either drive down or jump on the SkyTrain. That was my game day routine. And then I would get to the stadium. I have my big thing of Pedialyte and a king size Snickers. I would get to the stadium. You got to do your walkthrough from one end to the other because I'm it's a fashion show on game day. Your walkthrough, and then the other team. It's a small league. Where, your peers and colleagues that you compete against, you shoot the shit with them a little bit. Then you go in there, then you change into your shirt and your spandex and your shorts, come back out on the field, got your little Dre beats, run around a couple times, stretch, catch some balls, talk to the opposing team guys, go back in, go to Bible study, chapel. Then I would go get a light massage. Then I would take another shower and then get dressed from the waist down. And then get ready for team warm-ups because we would go out with just jersey, helmet, and lower body. We wouldn't have our pads on yet. And then go back in, eat half the Snickers, get my pre-workout in the big bottle of Pedialyte, drink half of that, throw the shoulder pads on, finish getting dressed, go in the mirror, make sure the swag is together. Wally will bring everybody up. We do team prayer, and then we got introductions. That was every game.
That's awesome. I wish I knew this kind of shit then. You know what I mean? I wish you were on the team right now and I just knew that about you. I find that really interesting, really cool. But
every player has their little, I want to say, idiosyncrasies, if you will. Their little, they have to do. Like I was big on, damn, if I didn't have my Snickers, oh man, I'm gonna have a bad game. I was for a lot of years, and I had my little pregame rituals. Or if I could tell during the week when I was really just I'm gonna have me a great game this week because I was feeling it. Then you go back because I've done it for so many years. You try to go back. Okay, that game I picked off Ricky Ray twice. What did I do that week? What did I eat that week? What was the night before pregame meal did I eat? Was it Earl's? Go back. Yeah. And I'd always would try to stay consistent week in and week out with what I did in terms of my preparation, because, you're an elite level athlete at the professional level, and they're trying to replace you. Let's not get it mistaken. If Wally could have paid $40,000 instead of $100,000, he would have did it.
He would have done it. Yeah. And I can't honestly say I blame him for that. It's the nature of the game, right?
It's business.
It's business, yeah.
If you can get the same quality, now, if I can get the same quality, because I've got some few pair of Gucci tennis shoes and Gucci belts, it was ridiculously high, and I, paid for the shit. But no, I have a pair of Gucci shoes that are literally like almost 10 years old, and they look brand new still to this day. I may have worn them a handful of times, but brand new. And in terms of that, a decade old, $650 ain't bad for a pair. But I'm just saying, if I could get that same quality for $100, I will be foolish not to do it. Pay $100 instead of $600. So I get it. It's basic economics. If you can get the same value for less, then why not? Mm-hmm. So that that says a lot in regards to myself and my career. When you talk about staying power, because the CFL, man, people don't understand it's harder to make a CFL roster than an NFL roster because of a ratio, right? Because it's only 2 preseason games. So training camp is like 3 weeks. A new guy, you don't have much time to make an impression. No. At least in the NFL, you got OTAs, mini camp, you got like back in the day, back when I was in the NFL, you had damn near a 6-week training camp because you got 4 preseason games. And in that first week or two, another NFL team, like my rookie year, the Colts came down and practiced with us for a week, and then we scrimmaged that Saturday. So a rookie in the NFL has some time to show what he can do. In the CFL, man, it's pistols blazing. You don't make an impression. The prime example, one of my young guys came up to BC. Roy ended up bringing him up, Giannis Davis, and I was, big bro. And we were in Calgary. I think this was our last preseason game, and I'm telling Neil, it's like 8 minutes left in the game, and he ain't put him in. They have not played Giannis yet. I'm like, yo, we need to get him in the game, man. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, this dude can play. And finally, they put him in, and he was spectacular. It's just unfortunate it ended so soon because he had so much promise. But a lot of people don't know that it's tough. You don't really get a chance to do anything if they don't put you in those 2 games. It's over with. You coming back home, and it's sad because I've seen a lot of great players. They just never got the opportunity.
Yeah. So you played in 12 games in the 2014 season. The team finished with a 9-9 record and lost to Montreal 50-17. Was there any interest from the Lions to bring you back for the 2015 season?
No. It's 2020, and I just now spoke to Wally a week and a half ago, since 2014.
Why? That's crazy. That's crazy.
I was bitter. I was very bitter. Because see, here, the reason why I felt like you've never had to worry about Dante Marsh and his physical ability. At 35, you can say what you want. This is a known fact. I was playing all-star level football at 35 years old.
Yeah. And
I had tore my MCL again, which is nothing. It requires no surgery. It's the medial collateral ligament, and it just takes a little time to heal back up. Mm-hmm. So once again, years prior to that, I did it, and I bounced back in 4.5, 5 weeks. So you already know what type of guy I am. I've given you 11 years of my life. Yeah. So we had a collective bargaining agreement prior to that season during training camp. And I was at this point, I'm a veteran. I'm an OG. I come up under guys like Milt Stegall, who mentored me, and Corey Banks, because like I said earlier, I lived in Atlanta for 7 years, and Milt lived out there too. So, we would have such a big group in the off season of pro ball players working out together. And Milt showed me how to be a pro in regards to the financial side. A lot of people don't know. I didn't have an agent for 9 of my 11 years in Canada. I was my agent. I did my own contracts. I did my own deals. So, at this point, I'm paying it forward. I'm telling young guys like honest stuff. Like, yo, this is how you should go about your business. If you get hurt, you shouldn't be out there forcing yourself to practice. This is not the NFL. You would get sent. You American, you would get sent home with nothing. Yeah. It's not obligated. It's I'm looking out for the future. As you should. As an older guy that's played in a pro league, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, whatever, it is your duty to make sure that the next wave coming up behind you learns things from your experiences. Yeah. And, BC Lions organization treated me very well. I can't say they did me wrong until that last year. I felt like, Wally, that was wrong. We talked for the first time a week and a half ago, and it's water under the bridge at this point. But at the time I was bitter because I was still at a high level. I'm 35, covering guys 20 years old. This is nothing. I could have played till I was 40. And I felt like, why couldn't I get the opportunity? If you felt like my physical abilities were diminishing, I'm playing pretty much one of the hardest spots on the field at the boundary corner. Why you couldn't give me the opportunity to move to safety or move to the field side of the secondary, where, it's a little easier. Yeah. But even so, I still was locking it down at the boundary corner at 35 years old. So I won't get into too many specifics, but yeah, let's just say that the way I left Vancouver was not good. And I felt like it was a disrespectful thing on Wally's part. Let me say that. And, then I had to get out of my personal feelings because I spent 11 years with this guy, man. I was his guy. I was one of his guys.
You were a soldier.
But, he cut Dave Dickinson. He cut Jason Claremont. He cut G-Roy. So why would I think anything different for Dante? So once I got over that, it was okay. But, it took me until a week and a half ago to talk to him.
Wow. That's crazy.
It was just business, baby.
So do you think maybe in the future the team might have an honor, something like a ring of honor for you or anything, or?
I would be surprised if they didn't. And I don't want to sound like Terrell Owens. I think Terrell Owens is a great guy. I think he's one of the greatest to ever do it. But I'm not gonna go about my business lobbying for things. I kind of let the fans do it. I know, we all know, everybody know. You're talking about a guy who has 33 career interceptions at the boundary corner, 31 regular season, 2 in the Western Finals, so 33 picks, 3 pick sixes. I think I got like damn near 600 tackles, multiple All-Star awards, 2 Grey Cups.
Speaks for itself.
Starting at one of the hardest positions on the field for 11 years for one team. Like, need I say more? I mean,
no.
What are we talking about? So, in regards to that, I think, like you said, it speaks for itself. So, I'm not gonna lobby and I should be in the Hall of Fame. I've been nominated for the Canadian Football League Hall of Fame. I didn't get in this year, obviously, as a first ballot. Congrats to those that did. But I'm not gonna throw a hissy fit in a tantrum. I believe I'll get in soon.
You will.
It's deserving, but in the all-time BC roster, I feel like I'm a lock for that. I think Corey Banks is a lock for that. I think Ryan
Phillips is a lock for that. All 3 of you are.
Yeah, all 3 of us should get to the Hall of Fame at some point. That's a no-brainer. But the powers that be that control that, they will get it right, hopefully. And I'm right now I'm focused on chapter 2 of my journey and coaching and getting into the other side of the game as a coach. And at some point when this is all over, I will be back up in Vancouver. And yes, I do think I should be an ambassador of sorts for the British Columbia Lions. I do think I should go into the Ring of Honor because I believe, like I said, the career suggests that I do.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna feel slighted or that's not gonna bother me. Whenever it happens, I'm gonna be happier than a kid in a candy store. So it's all good.
So if they offered you a position as a coach on the team, would you take it?
It's a possibility. Yeah, I'm open. I'm open. I was supposed to guest coach in Calgary this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've had a couple of D1 opportunities. A few years ago, it just wasn't the right time. My son was only in the 10th grade, and most of his young life, I was back and forth to Canada, so I had to make sure I got him through. At this point, he just graduated high school. He's off, and I'm gonna be a little more open to these opportunities at this point. My daughter lives with her mom, my ex-wife, so I fly her to visit me. So regardless where I'm at, that it won't have any bearings on that. So I'm kind of free to move around at this point, and I'm gonna really consider some of these opportunities that present themselves at this point.
Mm-hmm. So Ryan Phillips, Corey Banks, and yourself were known on the Lions secondary as Lockdown U. Who came up with the name?
We, as a collective, LeVar Glover was with us at that point. And we collectively came up with that, and that was us. It was myself, Corey, Ryan Phillips, Glove, and B. Miles. And we were pretty damn good. And, we had shirts, man. The fans had the banners, and, it was just a phenomenal time. And we kind of created that as a standard there in Vancouver. And if you was a guy, you was in that. You know, you had to go through the deans, of course, but it was a great honor to play with some great individuals in the back end. And like I said, the numbers are crazy. You're talking about, if we minus Barron, because he has like 60-something interceptions by himself, and obviously he's in Hall of Fame at this point. But even when you minus Barron and you just talk about myself, Ryan, and Corey, you're talking about over 100 interceptions between three guys. You're talking about double-digit touchdowns between three guys. You're talking about goo gobs of all-star nods and things of that nature. And you're talking about 2 Grey Cup championships and the staying power of a decade, which in modern era CFL, it's a like we talked about earlier today, it's a revolving door. And I don't think that'll ever be done again ever. You won't be able to keep a group of guys together for that long. It's never going to happen again.
No, I don't think it is either. I really don't think so either. Yeah, like you said, you guys even had T-shirts with nicknames. You did like a classroom thing where you guys were like a principal, vice principal. Sounds like you guys had a lot of fun with it. Yes. Do you remember some of the nicknames?
Man, I came up with that shirt. Ooh, that was a long time ago. I think B Miles was the dean. I think Corey was like confidence and swagger or ball skills or something like that. And I think I can't remember, man. It's been so long. Yeah, we had a ball because we all hung out together too. Yeah. This is what a lot of people got to understand, especially young people. When you are a cohesive unit and me and Corey didn't even have to talk. Once again, we hung out with each other off the field. He was my roommate on the road. We both lived in Atlanta. We trained together. We did family events together. That was my brother. You know what I mean? So I could look at him, him and Ryan, and it was like mental telepathy. We didn't really have to try to get to that level because we had been together for some time. And we used to go bowling together, me, Banks, Carl Kidd before he retired, Otis Floyd, Aaron Hunt. You know, we were deep and we were the fun guys. So everybody wanted to hang with the DVs. And we hey, if it after practice, guys still in the facility playing Boo Ran Tonk to like 6, 7 o'clock at night, gambling. Like we really hung out together. Like we didn't just hang at practice or football activities. We really hung out together.
You spent your life together.
Yeah, because a lot of our families, wives and kids were at home until flying up here and there. So what else are we gonna do? Yeah. we're he's from Seattle, he's from Miami, I'm from California, he's from Texas. So while we're up there, we hung out together so we could stay out of trouble and just relax.
Yeah. That would be a crazy show to have you, Ryan Phillips, and Corey Banks all together. That'd be a crazy show.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. I'm down. I've talked to Ryan a little bit. I know he was coaching in BC this last year, but I touched base a little bit with him. Just going to meet up and sign my jersey, kind of whatnot. But I mean, if you can lay the bricks down for that one, that'd be great.
Definitely, we can do that. We can put that together.
That'd be great. So, who's the toughest receiver you played against?
The toughest receiver ever?
In the CFL. Ever.
Ooh. All right. There's not one guy. Like,
okay.
They're all good. Kenyon Rambo is one.
Yes. Calgary. Yeah.
Me and Kenyon had some real good battles, man. He won a few more battles in 2008. He did a couple more. So, Kenyon, I played against Kenyon my our senior years in college when we went and played Ohio State. And I teased him a little bit. I said, you didn't catch no balls that game. But they destroyed, their defense was so good. And this was like one of David Carr's first starts. And their defense had 6 draft picks. Like you had Mike Doss, you had Nate Clements, you had Derrick Ross. they scored like 3 or 4 defensive touchdowns, and we in that, we fly out there, and then you look up and you're like, damn, there's over 100,000 seats in this stadium at Ohio State.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were too much for us. Defensively, they scored about 3 or 4 touchdowns, but I teased Kenyon like, you didn't catch my balls on me in that game. So we had some classic battles. It was always respect, man. He was one of the toughest guys. I had a lot of battles with. Early on in my career, it was Jason Tucker.
Okay.
Like the real deal. Tony Miles in Toronto early on in my career was very good. Mm-hmm. And Kerry Watkins in Montreal was tough to cover.
Okay.
Then you got guys like Jamil Richardson. He more so played in the slot, but he was just big and aggressive, and you had to bring your A game with him. And Nick Lewis, man, Nick Lewis was a damn bulldozer, man. Nick was just a football player, man. He wasn't fast. He didn't have no shake, but he was just tough, man. He's a damn dog, man. He just got it done. Mm-hmm. So if there's one guy I wish we could have had on our team throughout my career, I would definitely say Nick Lewis, man. Like Nick Lewis. And I hated him, man, when we played against talk shit. And Kenyon really wouldn't talk too much shit, but he was a handful. Maurice Mann was pretty good. Mm-hmm. There was some real good guys. I can't really just say one guy.
How was what about playing against Chad Johnson when he was in Montreal that one season, I believe?
Chad was cool. I trained with Chad before the draft.
Okay.
In 2001 out in LA. And we were working out together, and Chad was up there chilling, man. A lot of people know Chad. I don't think Chad was taking the CFL really serious. I think it was just a vacation for him. He's like a year older than me. He's like 42 now. Yeah. And he's all of that. Like at his age right now, he still can do all those things. Yeah. He's an avid cigar smoker like myself.
Yeah. I know.
Chad still had the juice. I just think at that point, he didn't really care. He was just, Montreal was paying him pretty good to be up there. And I think it was a vacation for him. And they didn't use him right. They wasn't really, they wasn't utilizing him right. But Chad was tough in his prime. When he was really wanting to play football, like you couldn't cover the guy. It's like he might have been the most polished guy I ever seen throughout my 4 years in college, because we played him. We went up to Oregon State and played. I was hurt that game. I had a 3rd-degree ankle sprain. But man, then when we got to LA training before the draft and stuff, I've never seen a guy at the collegiate level that polished, ready to play at the next level day one.
Wow, the Chad Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. He actually came out, what was it, a year or 2 ago, saying something about he was going to try out for, was it Major League Soccer? Yeah. He was going to play soccer, and then that just kind of slipped aside. But
yeah, he has nothing else to prove. Chad for his time in the NFL was a top 5 receiver. Like, can't take that away from him. He has Hall of Fame abilities. And for whatever reason, there's a lot that goes into, I think when the voting process, happens, they take into account some things that I don't think you should take into account. He wasn't a troublemaker. He really didn't get involved in off the field issues. That one issue with Evelyn Lozada at the end, I mean, whatever. But he wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't, no drug issues, no alcohol. He's a great dude to be around. He's funny, man. He's a breath of fresh air when you're talking about entertainment. Like he kept it, he kept it fun and
kept it fresh.
He's an ultimate competitor. That dude is a competitor. So, I think he's Hall of Fame caliber.
Yeah.
But his career could have been even better. With maybe not some of the antics, but you can't knock that, man. He did it his way.
He did his way. Yeah, 100%.
When you talk, I'm a DB, so I study receivers. When I talk to young guys about guys I've covered, I covered Marvin Harrison when I was in training camp in Indianapolis, came down, and Peyton Manning and Edgerrin James and Reggie Wayne. That shit was tough, you know. And Chad was in that same elite level. Like, you know, you got to respect it. So when people ask me what I've seen with my own two eyes, I always mention that, because everything he was is what an elite level receiver should possess.
Yeah.
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 Now, who else? Janelle Richardson and man, the names are missing me. Played in Montreal with Jamel. Was just recently in Toronto. And maybe Edmonton. He's putting up a lot of numbers. I can't remember his name. We had some battles too. We're number 19.
I'm coming up blank.
I can't.
I'm pulling out Google. Right now.
Went to Central Florida or South Florida. So it was him, Jamel Richardson, and Kerry Watkins. That was like a real good receiving core.
Okay. Yeah, I'm drawing blanks, man.
He was about 6'3", big hands. He's still playing, matter of fact, putting up numbers. He made a lot of highlight one-hand catches. I can't remember his name. It'll come to me. Wore a visor. So those are the guys that really were pretty damn good. And even going back even earlier in my career, you had Matt Dominguez. Mm-hmm. Like 2004, Matt was on his shit, man. And he wasn't fast, but he was just aggressive and big, like, and he could catch everything. Yeah. So he was a handful when I first got to Canada. So him, Ed Hervey, Jason Tucker, my first year, and Tony Miles, those guys were a handful. And then you even had a younger Jermaine Copeland in the mix in Calgary. So
yeah, Hervey put up some big numbers.
Yeah, big speed guys. And you know, I remember Andre Rison in Toronto.
Oh yeah.
And RJ Sauer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you had to cover some big names.
Yeah. So, you know, I can't just name one. Each one of those guys brought a unique skill set to the table, and they were very good. So you had to bring your A game, definitely.
Yeah. Who influenced you the most during your career? Biggest influence?
I had a bunch of them. J.D. Williams was my DB coach at Fresno State my freshman year, and then again in my senior year. He was a guy and he's actually the DB coach there, full circle again now. He had just finished up in the NFL. He was a first round pick out of Fresno, played in Buffalo and Arizona, San Francisco, I believe. And he was pretty much retired my freshman year. So he became a grad assistant and started coaching. He taught me a lot. You know, he taught me a lot of the little tricks and the nuances of DB play. I was a running back all my life, but I did play DB in high school as well. And every school that was recruiting me was like, you're going to make your money playing DB. So I didn't redshirt. I had pretty good feet coming in as an 18-year-old, and I played. And he just taught me a lot of tricks at, you know, next level, like NFL stuff. And everybody I came in contact, I took a piece of something from them. So J.D. Williams, Robert Hollywood, he was my coach. He was my DB coach in BC when I first got up there.
Yeah.
And we talk to this day. He taught me a lot of little tricks. David Sanchez. I used to watch Davis and Omar when I first got up there because I watched Omar at BYU because we were all in the same conference, and he's older than me, so I used to watch Omar Morgan. And when I got to Canada, I was trying to like really learn. I would watch a lot of film because once again, the little nuances of the CFL is different. So I would watch, okay, who's the best boundary corners up here? Because I'm going to be the best. So I used to watch Davis a lot, and I used to watch Omar Morgan. So I took bits and pieces of, you know, coaches that poured into me and taught me things, and then other players I took a lot of little tricks and little nuances and added them, incorporated them into my game. So it's a slew of guys, because I was thirsty for knowledge, and I wasn't some people say I was cocky and arrogant, but I listened still, regardless. I was a sponge, and I think that's what helped me play so long, because I was always thirsting for knowledge. I never, rested on my laurels. I was always at 35, year 12 of my pro football career, I was still hungry like 2001 rookie year in Tennessee.
Wow.
So I think that can attribute to the success, I guess.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, like you said, it's a sponge thing, and you honestly don't stop learning your whole life. It doesn't stop. We're always learning. We're always taking things in.
You always have to, because you have to constantly, especially in that business, whether you're talking about professional sports, whether you're talking about media, whether you're talking about corporate America at this point, because no longer do we live in the days where you can graduate high school, go find a job and work there for 20, 30 years and retire.
Nope.
Those days are long gone. You may be in a job 3 to 5 years and they're downsizing, getting rid of your position. They don't need you no more. So you got to constantly reinvent yourself. So with sports every day, and I tell people this too, when you talk about stress, a person that's never been a professional athlete has the slightest idea about what real stress is. When you're talking about, okay, I'm signing a contract with an organization to play a game, right? You're being evaluated by that organization every single day. Not 60, 90 days. No. Every single day. Then you got guys who've never got off the couch to play, never played football in their life. They are evaluating it. They have something. And they're on their little phones and keyboards talking shit. And then you have fans. You got armchair GMs, fans, and your own organization every single day. And then you have the media. So you are under such a microscope. It's a lot of pressure. And you have to go from being Bruce Banner and Clark Kent to Superman and the Incredible Hulk, and then turn back into Bruce Banner and Clark Kent every day.
Every day. Yeah.
It's difficult. It's a excellent juggling trick that you have to be able to do to professional sports.
And you got to keep your head on straight. You got to make the correct decisions all the time. You can't fuck up. It's in the media, right? Every last little thing you do is in the media. You fuck up, it's all over the place, right? That is a lot of stress. I never even thought of it like that.
Yeah, it's tough. And I tell people all the time, we talked earlier, I said you can compare a soldier with a professional athlete, because you can get injured on a football field and be maimed the rest of your life. You can break your neck, your back, get paralyzed. Something can go wrong, artery, they got to cut that limb off. Like, it's happened. This has happened.
Yeah.
So you have some sense of PTSD, because you have to keep doing that juggling trick. Like if my dad went to Vietnam. So a lot of those guys saw shit over there that was like crazy. So, they self-medicated, and then when they got back home, they're being reintroduced into regular civilization, and it's hard. They can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're in war and you see your homeboy that you went to basic training with, spent months with, maybe a year or two with, and you see him get his brains blew out or his body blown apart, that's going to stay with you for the rest of your life. And I'm not trying to say compare the severity of it, but I'm giving people like a real life comparison. As a professional athlete, with all the scrutiny and the pressure and, the mind, you have to perform at this high level week in and week out and every day. Because once again, it's not just the media, fans, and people sitting on the couch talking shit. It's your own organization videotaping you, watching you every day. Oh, is he losing a step? Oh, we don't have to get him out of here. Or is he making too much money? We can save some money on the cap. And this is your livelihood. This is how you support yourself and your family. And, fortunately for me, I was able to do it for over a decade, playing the game. And, all things do come to an end at some point. So, I tell young guys, the day you leave Pop Warner and then go to high school and then go to college and then and if you're fortunate enough to play in the pros, what's behind you on a sunny day if you look at the ground? Your shadow.
Okay, sorry, the shadow. Yeah.
So from the time you start to the time you finish, you're trying to run away from your shadow. And one day that damn shadow gonna catch up to you.
Yeah.
So that's just what it is. And that's how this thing works. Because nothing is forever.
No.
So, it takes a special kind of individual. You gotta be kind of crazy, obsessive to be able to do this. Like I'm being real. And that's what we talked earlier about mental health. This is tough, man. People don't, and I love that I can share and be real and give people that never been in a pro locker room or a D1 locker room and understand the severity or the seriousness of the business. Like this shit is real. Like it's not embellished. It's not a game. And I can only imagine in the 80s, the 70s, and the 80s and the early 90s, them dudes is getting hooked on, medicinal drugs because my back is fucked up, but I got to go out here and play.
Mm-hmm. I
got a contract. I like take care of my family. So whatever I got to do, I got to do. I'm not condoning that, but that's the kind of mindset you're in. I played with, the 2011 Grey Cup. A lot of people don't know this. I played the whole second half with a blew up shoulder. I had to get surgery like 2 weeks after the Grey Cup.
Holy shit.
Like I tore my other shoulder. I'm missing pieces in both shoulders. So I went in at halftime. Hey man, my arm is numb. I can't really pick it up. Shoot this shit up, man. Ain't no way I'm coming out this Grey Cup because once again, I'm the boundary corner. I'm an American. Who they gonna put in my place? We gonna lose the game.
Yeah.
So I would take a half of a Dante over anybody else that we had. So, hey man, shoot this up, man. Let's finish this rodeo. I got to get another cup and spark up a cigar when we win this game.
That's crazy, man. All right, so we're getting close to the end of the show with Dante Marsh. But before we end it, we're going to get into some quick hits, some short answers from you. So here we go. Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Michael Jordan.
Thank you.
Now let me clarify some things.
Yeah.
From a philanthropist standpoint, and a social standpoint, LeBron James is the GOAT. I respect him on a level beyond the level of levels of levels.
Mm-hmm.
You created a school. You created a situation where all those kids can go to Akron for free.
Mm-hmm.
Donate a lot of money. You have an excellent platform and you utilize it well.
Yep.
Now, when you talk about, he's a top 3 all-time player. I'm old enough to have watched I Want to Be Like Mike.
Yeah.
All my life. And I'm a Warrior fan. Even before they were good, I was a Warrior fan. Chris Mullin, Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond.
Yeah.
I'm Oakland A's, Golden State Warriors, and Oakland Raiders, period. Win, lose, or draw. I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
But everybody wanted to watch the Bulls when Michael Jordan was playing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like one of them things. It just doesn't matter what you do. Michael Jordan is the greatest ever in many people's eyes and opinions. So in regards to that, yes, LeBron is a top 3 all-time guy, but Michael Jordan is the GOAT, man. Once again, I think what LeBron does off the court, man, is phenomenal. And what he does on it is phenomenal too, but he, as a person, he's just probably the GOAT of when you talk about never no issues with cheating on his wife or being in the news for scandals and things like that. Pretty much always says the right thing, keeps his nose clean. He's doing what he's doing on the court, and then what he does off the court. So he, as a whole, he might be the GOAT as the whole thing. When you just talk about basketball and how somebody changed the game and just revolutionized things, MJ.
I agree. Yeah. What was your first car?
My first car was a 1984 Oldsmobile Delta 88 with 2-inch white walls and some flat caps.
That's awesome.
That thing rolled like a Cadillac, man. That thing was so smooth.
That's awesome. I can picture that right now. I can totally picture it. That's awesome. If you have a picture of it, by chance, you should send it to me. I'd love to see it.
I have a picture of my second car. I don't have a picture, because you got to remember, cell phones weren't like this back in the late 90s.
Right. No.
So I did come across a couple of pictures. I had a 1971 Cutlass Oldsmobile was so clean. I'm kicking myself to this day for selling it.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was an excellent muscle car. I don't know what I was thinking when I saw it.
So we already covered this one. Your favorite NFL team?
Oakland Raiders all day. And they will always be the Oakland Raiders. I don't give a damn if they play on the moon. They are town business. It's the fabric of Oakland. It's bigger than the team. If you are from Oakland, California, you are a Raider by nature. Everything that the Raiders stand for is synonymous with the city.
Yeah. So you covered both of these earlier. Was it basically a tandem, but shower or bath?
Shower. Multiple times.
Drew Brees or Tom Brady?
Tom Brady.
Mm.
Tom Brady's a Bay Area native as well. Went to the same high school as Barry Bonds. I want to say Sarah High School. He's the ultimate. When you talk about, and once again, I'm not a 49er fan. I'm a Raider fan, but I respect the game and I know my history. So growing up in the Bay Area in the 80s, man, there was nobody better than Joe Montana ever. Until recently, he was my numero uno quarterback. Everybody loves Joe Montana. And Tom Brady has surpassed Joe Montana. His story is so remarkable because here's a guy, 6'5", not overly physically imposing, not fast. They say his arm wasn't that strong. He really didn't get to shine at Michigan the way I know he would have liked, because I want to say Drew Henson, one of those quarterbacks that were there at the time he was playing baseball back and forth and was a higher ranked guy. So they kind of split time, and he really didn't get the opportunity to really lead the Maize and Blue the way I know he probably would have wanted to. And then he goes to the combine. He doesn't really impress physically in any of the testing. And I think he was a 6th-round draft pick. And, he's going to be a clipboard holder. And for, the star-studdedness of, Drew Bledsoe, and he, sitting there watching that, and then he goes down and Tom Brady steps up and never looks back. No. It's just the greatest story. It's like the quote-unquote American dream. It's like next man up, pick up the flag, and maxed his opportunity out. Hit 9 Super Bowls and won 6.
That's insane.
It's amazing.
I eat, sleep, shit, die Philly. The New England Patriots and Tom Brady, they're winners. And it pissed me off. It just pissed me off. The attitude, everything about it pissed me off. And, it was 2004, I think, T.O. and Philly.
Yeah.
That Super Bowl pissed me off. You've got, Philadelphia just basically blew up on the field, It just wasn't working. So you got McNabb puking on the sidelines. You got T.O. cussing out McNabb. Yeah. And things fell apart. And New England won. And New England kept winning. Other than that one year that I was really pulling for New England and they lost to the Giants, and that really even pissed me off even more. But
some people don't understand when I speak so highly of the Patriots and Tom Brady, because I am a diehard Raider fan, and that was some bullshit with Charles Woodson in the Tuck rule. Mm-hmm. And I do truly believe, nobody could tell me different, without that ruling, the Raiders beat the Patriots and they win the Super Bowl that year. Because they won the following year and got banged by Tampa Bay. But that particular year, they would have won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. All right, on to the next one. Worst thing you ever bought?
Worst thing I ever bought. One of my chains, maybe.
Maybe they could just fell apart or something, like links falling off, or
it wasn't. I still have some jewelry, but it just, when you get older and you look back like, oh, that was stupid. That wasn't. But for the time, I was young. I'm a professional athlete. You want your bling bling, but when you grow and you mature and you realize, I could have bought a car with that. That could have been a down payment on a rental property or something. Like, it was just I'm not gonna say it was dumb or the worst, but all things considered, it was not important at all.
No, okay. I'm a little surprised because you've got a lot of tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting another tattoo tomorrow.
Nice.
Do you have any tattoos that you regret?
No.
Good.
I do wish that I would have the way my back turned out is pretty dope. I do wish I would have had that plan. I do wish my later tattoos I had planned at a younger age.
Okay.
Because you do have some tattoos that you're kind of like, I wish that was a blank space now because there's so much shit I could do with it now. But all my tattoos mean something, and then the ones that I really wasn't too fond of, they got covered up anyway. And you realize as a young guy, you know, cheap tattoos aren't good. Good tattoos aren't cheap. So,
right.
you know, the artwork was dope to me at the time, but when I, you know, got older and I got, you know, I'm willing to spend some real money on some tattoos, like, oh, that's terrible. You know, my other tattoos kills that. So this artwork. So sometimes I do wish I had a clean canvas because there are different ideas. Because I'm in a different stage of my life, you know. So you know, there's some things I like. Damn, I wish I had that space blank right now. You know.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't regret it. They all tell a story, but yeah. Sometimes I wish I had a blank canvas and I could start all over because I have the idea from beginning to end instead of on your. But see, that's the beauty of the tattoo game because I got my first tattoo at 16. I'm 41, and I think I finished up getting most of my ink at 33 or 34. So
holy shit.
You know, the later tattoos were just so much more dope because I knew how to tie everything in, and my ideas were better, and you know, you're paying more. So the artwork is better, but they all tell a story. So it's all a part of the makeup of Dante. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, for sure. Do aliens exist?
Yes, there's another life form on this planet. I do believe. Yes.
Okay. Ghosts, that kind of shit. Same thing.
I believe in spirits. We talked a little bit of religion on earlier today, and I did go through a bout of depression about 8 years ago, and you know, I felt like I had a backpack on, and that was a spirit with the claws in me. I truly believe, and some people won't get it. Some people think it's a joke. I'm not a religious freak, but I do believe in God. I do believe in a higher power, and I really do believe that angels and demons do exist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
There's spirits, and like I said, it's energy. I was telling a young guy today. I said, you know, I didn't have a plan B. My plan B was to make sure my plan A worked.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It's a contradictory. At 41, I can say that because I do have a master's. I do have my education, but I was going to the NFL. You wasn't going to tell me I wasn't. I was going to play professional football. You wasn't going to tell me I wasn't. Yeah. And, you know, fortunately, it worked out that way, but I still got my education. You know, football was my vehicle to obtain these things that I needed to be successful in life and to the tools that I needed to compete in the world. So, you know, it's just the spirits and the energy is real, and law of attraction. So, you know, they're out there, and I think I truly believe you can speak things into existence, negative or positive. I think some people speak death into existence.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm all about positive mindsets because they beat you if they can't outwork you.
That's right.
They can't.
That's right. I agree too. You know, like to the negative side of that is that it's like a teeter-totter, and you can believe the negative shit in too, right?
Yeah, you can. The human body is so magnificent. It's the greatest machine ever created on the planet. Mm-hmm. Greatest machine because you can will yourself to health. And a lot of people don't know this. If let's say you get sick or something, or you feel, and then you start Googling shit, and you start like you can play with your mind, and you can actually develop symptoms.
Yes, sir.
You can make yourself sick with your brain. That's why I believe thousands and thousands of years ago, when you watch this. So a house, a dilapidated building with all the technology we have now, if I was to leave this house and nobody lived here and nobody did anything, no upkeep or anything, it'll go to shit, right?
Yeah. Yes,
Like,
sir.
how come a pyramid from thousands of years ago still standing?
I don't have a clue.
How did you get those pieces, big ass rock? But there were no tractors, there were no cranes.
No cranes. No, yeah, I have no idea.
So it leads me to believe, the same way I just talked about your mind willing yourself to health or creating symptoms for you physically. There were no TVs. There were the music was played by actual, musicians. There were no strip clubs. There was no McDonald's. You had time to use every inch of your brain.
Yeah.
So I think, hey man, I'm moving these buildings with my brain power. I don't know. It's possible because it makes sense. So
It does make sense.
I kind of zone out and think about things like that sometimes.
Yeah. That's funny. I agree, man. One thing here before I get to our last question, we've talked a little bit today now and earlier about issues like suicide and health issues and just some of the things that need to be said. And man, if you're willing to do it, I would love to have you on for another show in the future, hopefully soon, and to talk about some things that need to be said.
Absolutely. It's see, here's the thing. As a football player, I got a platform, right?
Yeah.
So I have to use my platform to speak on issues and things that are relevant. A lot of people think athletes are just dumb jocks or they're just people who play a sport. I'm not a robot. I have feelings. We all have feelings. We all have emotions. We all have, we live life. So why should I be capped in what I talk about or discuss, like the whole shut up and dribble thing? Like that makes no sense. We're still human. We have lives outside of what you see on Sunday or Monday night. You know?
Of course.
So it's definitely you utilize your platform to speak and bring awareness to these issues.
Yeah.
Because mental health is real, and especially with men, we have to talk about emotion. We have to talk about mental issues. I know it's real taboo and kind of hush hush in the Black community when you're talking about males.
Yeah.
Remember earlier about how men were taught, you scrape your knee, you better not cry. You're told to suppress all those things. So now when you get to that level of understanding, that I have to be okay with discussing those things because it's going to help me. I can't live my life with all these different emotions bottled up.
No.
Because at some point, you said earlier, volcano, and it's
shit's gonna blow up.
Absolutely. So yeah, no, I'm all for it. It definitely needs to be awareness brought to the table about mental health, and some of what I alluded to earlier in regards to having to do that balancing act with, okay, I'm Bruce Banner. Okay, now I got to go be an Incredible Hulk. Now watch this. Every day in practice, you're doing that juggling act, and then you got to do it again on game day, and then you have to go home and be a husband.
You got to do it at home. Yeah. You got to juggle again.
A stand-up guy in the community. Now watch this. I am in no way, shape, fashion, or form condoning abuse, from a man and his wife. But these guys need that help because that's what I think is triggering. They're high stress, high strung people. And you're doing this balancing act, and now you're so high strung. Once you go to your home and you're a husband and you're a father and you're a regular civilian, you have to de-escalate and you have to come down and be even keel. It's very hard to do that. That's why mental health is critical, especially sports psychology.
Yeah.
Because these athletes need that more than a lot of these other things, truth be told.
Yeah. I hear you, man. I honestly agree that we talked about earlier too, how things happen for a reason. I mean, this is my platform. We're on my platform right now. I honestly think that you and I were meant to have this conversation for a reason, and we're leading into bigger things. I can honestly tell you that right now.
Absolutely.
It's meant to happen.
Absolutely. And I'm thankful because it needs to be, people need to be able to see past the helmet and shoulder pads. People need to see, that there are athletes that can articulate themselves well and they can do more than just play a sport and entertain you.
That's right. And it's not just you, Dante. There's many out there, right?
And I would never, I don't think of myself like that. I'm cool. Like, I'm very humble.
Yeah.
I'm just me. I'm having fun. We're just having a candid conversation. That's it.
Yes, sir.
There are a lot of us that can do this. And I think the stigma of shut up and dribble needs to get thrown out the window. People understand there's no such thing as a dumb job. You have to process information in milliseconds. You know how fast you got to make a decision out there on that field? You don't have time to,
No.
So there's no such thing as a dumb jock. I point this out. Do you remember, it's one of the best football movies, The Program?
Yes.
So do you remember, I can't remember his name in the movie, but the linebacker that got hurt, messed his leg up real bad, and he was like, I don't know what else to do. All I know is football, right?
Yeah.
He was in the film study with the coach, and they were going over what his assignment was. He was dropping it. I go to the A gap. I can't verbatim what he said, but it was so on point. And I see the running back and I kill him and make his mother feel it. Like, it was just so detailed. But then when he was in study table, it was like Adidas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that's I think people need to see, the academic side, if you will, of athletes. And I think it's good for athletes to utilize these platforms because they can show, hey, yo, man, I'm the person that gets in that uniform. That's something that I do. That's not what I am.
Yeah. Yep. Last question. What scares you the most?
Failure. I am frightened of failure. And I know some people are like, huh? I'm petrified of failure. I want to be the best ever. I want to be mentioned as one of the best to ever exist. And that wasn't just in football. I pride myself on helping these young people, pouring into them and impacting other people's lives. So we talked about earlier, like, if, God forbid I was to pass away soon, what will my eulogy say? If somebody had to speak on my behalf at my homegoing service, what would they say about Dante? So, I'm not perfect. Everybody's flawed. I'm not proud of every single thing I've ever done. However, I'm proud of the man I am and the man that I am becoming. And I think I'm at this point in my life, I'm living in my purpose. So my biggest fear is to have not, to be a have not, or to not be able to do things I want to do, to be somebody that's struggling, and it's not all financially. I'm talking about mentally and spiritually as well. Just fear. I view my life as a Black man in America. I view my life as if I'm a acrobat on a trapeze, right? They have a net at the circus. So if you do a couple
flips or whatever, you fuck up, you're gonna get caught.
Yeah, and if your partner slips, when you dismount and he's supposed to grab you, you'll fall on the net. Well, as a Black man in America, my whole life I kind of view myself as having no net. So if I fall, I plummet to my death. So it's just like that added motivation to try to accomplish things, because I know there's nobody coming to save me. I know there's nobody's gonna be there for me to pick up the pieces. Mm-hmm. That's how I kind of live, my day-to-day life, is that if I don't do it, it's not gonna get done. So it's a lot of pressure I put on myself to try to accomplish things, because if I don't do it, who's gonna do it?
That's right. Yeah. Well, Dante, it's been a great show. I really appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy. You got a lot of shit going on. I've been trying to track you down for a few weeks.
I'm never too busy for you, man.
Thanks. No, I appreciate that, Dante. We're going to be in touch, buddy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to create like we talked about earlier, create a round table and get other guys on here and let's talk real. You know,
Yeah.
we don't have to. Yes, it's the platform created because of what we've done for a living and at the level we've done it. But you know, it's a great platform to speak about multiple issues, and I think that's imperative that once again people hear from everybody. It just, I mean, how can somebody sit there and say, "Well, I wish you would just shut up and focus on sports," or "Why do I have to hear political views on ESPN?" Everybody has an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has a voice. You got two ears and one mouth for a reason. So
Yeah.
these voices need to be heard. And it's great to hear, you know, about issues that aren't just in a box related to that sport from an athlete. Because I love to hear an athlete articulate themselves well and actually are intellectuals. And I love it.
And we just did that tonight.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we did tonight.
Absolutely. And I'm thankful. Once again, it's a pleasure, man, for somebody to reach out, think enough of me to want to even do an interview. I'm humble in that way. Like I don't see myself other than who I am. I love who I am and what I've accomplished, but I don't walk around with that aura on me. I try to be as down to earth as possible. I'm very approachable. I'm relatable, and I love doing this type of stuff.
I wish that I wish we had this conversation 10 years ago and you were still with the Lions. I could come, meet you game day, outside the field and chop the shit with you on game day and watch you go through your emotions now knowing what you do and what's going through your mind,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Oh yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I wish technology was where it is today 10 years ago. Instagram was just getting up and running. So it was, remember it used to be 15 seconds and then they finally went to 30 and then now you can do a whole minute and even IGTV, you can put a whole segment on there. So it was fun because it came to fruition towards the end of my career and I was kind of able to post workout videos and stuff and kind of give people a glimpse of the day by day, routine of, because see, people don't see the 10 or 15 year preparation to become the overnight success. They only see the end result. They only see the end product. And it's just with technology now, you can kind of show, document, and give people a behind the scenes look at what really goes on. It's
Mm-hmm.
not what you think. And I think sometimes the people on the outside looking in, they can't grasp the intensity or the severity of situations because all they see is he looks, real fresh in his uniform on game day and he's making these plays. Well, it was countless hours, years, blood, sweat, and tears, injuries, adversity that they had to persevere through and push forward to even get to that part.
Yeah.
And with the emergence of YouTube and Google and Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, we're able to see these things now. And I think guys need to be able to tell their story. So it's great that we have these platforms and I'm definitely will encourage some of my former teammates, man, you got to stay relevant too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you can get some of these guys on my show, I'd appreciate that too, man.
Man, we get Aaron Hunt, guys I still talk to, Corey Banks, obviously, Ryan Phillips, Byron Parker. There's a slew of guys I still think, G-Roy, slew of guys I still talk to pretty much on LeVar Glover, on, here and there through text. We stay, technology is giving us the ability to stay in touch. So I would definitely put it out there and we could get this going.
Yeah, man, for sure. I'd love to have G-Roy Simon on here, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Travis Lule.
Absolutely. That whole gang we had, the other day with the TSN thing in the Grey Cup. That was pretty dope.
Yeah. I like watching that. And I guarantee you, if the Lions do the name, the Ring of Honor thing for you, I'm going to be there 100%. I'll be there.
And I'm gonna be there too.
I hope you're going to be there.
No, it's such a great honor, man. I real quick, when I first got up to BC in the front office in Surrey, if you walk in and you look up to your immediate right where they sell the merchandise stuff downstairs, there was a plaque, and it was the 50th. I want to say the 50th year anniversary team.
Mm-hmm.
It had Eric Carter on there. It had, I think, Doug Flutie. It had a bunch of guys on there, right? And I told myself in 2004, I'm gonna be on the 60th anniversary team.
Yeah.
When it came time to do the 60th anniversary team, the organization decided not to do it.
Oh.
So it's one of those things. So now in my mind, I'm like, man, it's gonna be a 75th anniversary team. I think I better make that one. Davis Sanchez called me the other day, and we talked for about an hour. That was a real cool conversation. And I guess TSN every week they're doing different teams all-time roster.
Yes.
So I'm kind of excited to see how that's gonna go.
When is BC's? Do you know?
I don't know when it is. I think they're doing Winnipeg now, but either they're doing Winnipeg or Saskatchewan. But I think we'll be coming up in the near future. And for me, me, Ryan, and Corey, I don't see anybody else. I mean, at least us three will be on there as locks for sure. But you never know. And I'm not. I'm curious to see how that all plays out.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah, for sure. All right, Dante, I'm going to close out the show. Again, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And I look forward to doing more of these with you in the future.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us this week on this episode of 3rd and 1. Please remember to subscribe, leave a review, or share this show.